Hi folks, in ITEC, I want to send you a quick email to help you get started on the SLOR, which is the reporting system. Now, I'm here to provide this as a tool, supporting y'all's department in this. First of all, it has to be an initiative that you want to do, and second of all, I can't do it. I can't do this for my entire department as well as all the other departments on the college. So I can't take that on, but I can help you get started if this is something that you choose to do. Okay, and it will help you look at and maintain the 4 columns that are required for course level reporting. Okay, and if that sounds like something you don't understand, then there probably needs to be some training on that, because it's just not a 30-second explanation. Okay, all right, this is what I have here. For ITEC, for example, every single course that is listed as active in Banner. I'm not talking about scheduled. I mean that the class is still alive. It has not gone through curriculum committee to be terminated. It is still active, is listed in the SLOR system. Now I'll start out by saying, as the business department went through this within my department, my business department, we found that we had courses that needed to be eliminated and through the curriculum committee. And the reason for that was that we, for ACBSP, were being asked, why aren't you assessing these courses? And we were saying, oh, because we don't teach these anymore. They're no longer, active courses. But they were active in Banner, and so it was an important part of the process to clean up our course inventory. Okay, so let me tell you what I have here. Now, this is a new course, ITEC 1000. I don't know who the lead faculty are, so I have guessed at all of these, and I'm probably wrong in many cases. So I'm going to let you all work that out. Now, the one thing that I would ask is that you don't say, well, I'm not it. Okay, because I'm not going to figure that out. That's something that you guys have to figure out within your department. Okay, now, like here's ITEC 1001, and I think Clementi's the lead on that. Again, this is y'all. ITEC 1002. Again, I'm guessing, is this Jane? Wayne, as the coordinator, when I find classes, and I did this within our own department as well, that don't seem to belong to anybody, I kind of gave them to the coordinator. But again, if you know that class is somebody's, or somebody else says, hey, that's my class, I can change the lead faculty, and I'll tell you the significance of that. So I'm going to copy and paste this into a Word document, and I'm going to send it to you so that you all can tell me what I'm supposed to do with this. As you look across, there's a couple things that I'll point out, and maybe I should go to Todd, if you don't mind, I'll pick on your course. Here's ITEC 2010. Now I know the course number has changed, and I think, what is it, ITEC 1010 now? And so you'll see that, and that's okay. It's okay to leave a course active for a little while, but remember that you might be asked about that, so later on that might be something that you keep on your calendar to clean up. Okay, so actually let me start with Todd's, the ITEC 1010, if you don't mind. Notice that it says not assessed, and a lot of y'all do, and that's okay, that's okay. The reason that it says not assessed is because there is no SLO online exam associated with that particular course. Now, if you look at Jane Saney's ITEC 1002, the logic and problem solving, you'll see that it is assessed. Okay. Now, here's the difference in this. I'm trying not to make you dizzy, but I want to get this on the screen a little bit. One more. Okay. Here's Jane's class, and notice under SLO1 it says 0. If I click on that 0, and if you're the lead faculty, you will have the opportunity to do this. I think I clicked on the wrong button just a second ago. So here I am. Okay, I've clicked on the 0 underneath Jane's logic and problem solving. What needs to happen is the lead faculty member goes in to this screen and fills out the 4 columns of the 4-column model. Okay, now you do some of it before the courses actually occur, and you do some of it after the courses occur. So I'm going to show you that. Okay, where it says intended outcome, this is your first objective. Okay, so for SLO, for objective number 1, what they're asking is, what is that objective? Now, I don't know what it is for ITEC 1001. As an example, what I could show you is that these are typically, you put them on your syllabus, and you'll say when the student completes these courses, they must be able to do what? Right? Okay, so typically this is on the syllabus. SACS looks for those kinds of things, so you go out and hopefully you keep this information somewhere, but I'm just going to kind of make something up here. For the first objective, you say the student must explain flowchart elements. I'm sorry, flowchart elements, something like that. Okay, now how are you going to measure that? Okay. The common thing that we do, you are certainly, y'all make up your own. Again, this is, your project, okay, is you set a number that the whole class, how many students have to pass this objective in order for you to consider it to be successful. Maybe you feel like that number is 70%. So I'm going to say 70% of students who complete the class will successfully answer 2 out of 3 multiple choice questions. Okay, remember the multiple choice questions, those are in SLO. And for this particular SLO, for that objective, you came up with 3 questions that met that objective. If they answer 2 out of 3 of them, if 70% of the class answers 2 out of 3 of them, you feel that that would be good. Now, I'm going to add on the words here, example, please feel free to erase, okay, because I'm just doing this as a demonstration. Now, what are these numbers down here? Remember that I showed you that Jane's class was being assessed in the SLO system, whereas Todd's class is not yet. And that's okay. I'm not pointing, I'm just using these as examples, okay? Well, because the exam is in the online exam system, her data is all right here. She doesn't have to go hunt anything down after the semester is completed. Now, let me stop and say this as well. Initially, you will have to type in this objective information and this measurement information for each class for all 5 objectives. As long as the objectives stay the same from one semester to another, you just leave them out there and we will roll them forward. We will copy them, no worries. Okay. After the semester is over, and in fact after the academic year is over, this data will automatically be there. So what we do in our department is we come in and we say, well, we do it at the end of the academic year, but actually at the start of the next one. So we look back, right? What we're going to do in our department meeting is we're going to look at our results and we're going to say, look at this, 88. Well, is 88% above 70%? It is. Goal met. Okay, I'm going to type that in a minute, because when I look down here, I see that this 97% is also really good. That is excellent. So where it says use of results, this is where we close the loop. What you're doing is you're saying, do we need to make improvements to this course to increase our effectiveness, to increase our results? In this case, no. Goal met. Now, you can add things on. Goal met because, let me be better about this, goal met because of new classroom software. Okay, you kind of get the idea, but that's what you would do. Now, what if you had some kind of error? Or let's take Todd's class, for example, or any of the classes that are not currently assessed, and he says, but you know what? I've got this homework or this project that I use. That's where my results come in. Well, you can still enter them. You can type something in these manual assessments. Now, you know as well as I do already what I'm going to say about the pros and cons. The pros are you have a lot of flexibility. If you want to give a project or something like that, knock yourself out, okay? What are the disadvantages? The disadvantages are, of course, you need to remember to get those papers to submit them, and if one of the accrediting bodies asks you for that information, you need to be able to lay hands on it, okay? Another use of this manual assessment is that sometimes system problems do occur. You have a network outage, you have some students who were not included for some result. Quite frankly, we offer classes in the jail and they don't have access to computers, and in that case we may want to say there was another section of this class that may have increased or lowered these results, and we want to take that into consideration. So think of this from an accounting perspective as where you would post an adjustment if you feel it's needed, okay? Because these results, and this was a critical thing when we designed the system, it was in support of one of our goals, is that it's very reliable because it is not touched by human hands. Nobody has the opportunity to tinker with the data, right? So the students take the test results go directly into this reporting system. So for better or for worse, that is how it's designed, and so use this accordingly. Okay, now I've done this for ITEC 1002, but this is only objective number 1. I'm going to save this, and each of you are lead faculty, and so each of you will have the opportunity to do this for your courses. Obviously you're not going to do it for everyone's courses. So there we go. Okay, now you would just go over to SLO number 2 and put in, here is my second objective, right? Now, here's the beauty of this. Later on, when your accrediting body comes and they say, what are the objectives for that course? What are the student learning objectives? You don't have to say, well, I emailed them to so-and-so, and so-and-so doesn't work here anymore, and that was an adjunct, and there's not all this frantic rushing around for the information. It's all right there in the report, okay? Now, again, 70% of students will successfully answer 2 out of 3 goal-related questions. In other words, questions that relate to this SLO. However you want to word that, okay? Again, you see the results. Now, you can, again, this is going to roll forward from year to year once you get it set up. But every year we stop and close the loop. We say, how are we going to use the results of this? Okay, this is what the SLOR system does for our department. Now, what is the benefit of this? Let me change screens here a little bit. What your coordinator and department chair can do is, after the information is all entered, is they can go in, and at the end of the year they're going to go in and be able to very quickly run a report. And I'm going to show you the ITEC report. They will be able to come in, this is something again the coordinator or the department chair does, and they'll see for ITEC or MIS, OFAT is also perhaps going to do this, maybe, they'll see this report. The first thing that it does is it tells the auditor that this class was either assessed using the online exam system or not. Okay? If it was not assessed, then perhaps you have those results in your desk drawer in a file cabinet, examples of student work, whatever. Okay? Some things it's very difficult to assess. How do you assess a co-op? Okay? But you need to be prepared. If they point to that, you say, oh yes, we did not assess that because this is what that course was, blah, blah, blah. Okay? I'm going to scroll on down because here's where we get into the better part. Now, once you have data in there, this is going to be more meaningful because you're going to see your list of objectives, your list of measures, and the SLO data that is pulled from the online exam system, or else your adjusted results. And then you're going to also see, or the auditor is going to see, how you plan to use those results. So let me continue down here to Jane, the class I just did. Oh, and look at the wonderful graph that we provide in there. So this is what it would look like. Here's your objective. We allow for 5 objectives. Here are your measures. Your goal was to achieve 70%, but what did you actually achieve? And based on that, as the auditor looks across, they see what you're going to do. Well, your goal was met. Blah, blah, blah. Goal met. If a goal is not met, then you talk about why that goal was not met. And you see the trend of how people do on these SLOs. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense. The last thing that I want to show you is what you as faculty, I've given you the big picture in terms of what your chair and what your coordinator can see. I want to show you what you as faculty will see with the SLOR system. You click on now notice the big blue R versus just SLO. Okay, you click on the SLOR icon for faculty, and as lead faculty, let me I gotta go back into that, I apologize, but let me say something else before I do. As lead faculty, you go into SLOR to help manage your course that you're the lead faculty for. That's different than SLO. When you're the faculty in the SLO examining period, you're not managing the course. Goodness, I'm gonna have to log back in. You're teaching the course. Okay, so for the SLO system, I expect when I come in to that system to see the individual sections that I teach. These are classes that I teach. I am not the lead faculty for Intro to Business, but I teach sections of it, so I can configure the exam. That's what SLO does. What does SLOR for faculty do? Well, it's going to show me the classes for which I'm the lead faculty. Okay, so when I go into this, I am the lead faculty for this course for business statistics. Okay, so for business statistics, what I do is, and this is just like the screen I was demonstrating to you a moment ago. My name has been connected to these courses, just like your name has been connected to the courses that I showed you. So if my name is not connected to a course that I'm responsible for, I need to tell me so that I go back in there and change it, right? So I go in here, and look, here is my objective. Explain the concept of central tendency. On completion of ISDS 2000, 70% of students will demonstrate the ability to explain the concept of central tendency by correctly answering at least 2 out of 3 goal-related questions. Now, one of the things that the auditors really, really like is that within each semester, the results are broken down by the type of offering, traditional, online, hybrid. They are very interested to know why, if one particular section, for example, if the online students do poorly, they want to know why. If the hybrid students do poorly, you need to address that when you come down here and close the loop. Now you see, I have not closed the loop for the last academic year. This is what we do as part of our department meeting before we go into the next year. But did I type this information in this year? No. Okay. Some of the really great things are, though, there is a history of these objectives, so if you change them from one year to another, you can see that information from year to year, okay? Again, because it's in the 4-column report, right? So when you print that report to give to the auditors, if you've taken the time to put this information in, it's all there. It's all there, okay? And again, how did I do that for each of my SLOs? Sure. And in some of them, let me go down here to SLO number 4. In some of them, the students didn't do as well, and I will have to talk about things that I recall from the semester, and I also get with the other people who teach this course to say, goodness, why do we think that we had trouble? Well, here I'm the online instructor, so I guess I'm going to look at that myself, but here we have more than one instructor who teaches the traditional section. So I don't know, maybe we just didn't focus on it as well. If we changed the objectives that year, which I believe we did, maybe we had the students reviewing some older material, and so there was some confusion. Those things happen, right? So this is this is what you want to do, I think, and I think the SLOR system is very good and will help you. But that being said, you decide how it supports or doesn't support your institutional effectiveness, and you decide what you're going to use and who's going to be responsible for saying to everybody, we've got a deadline and this needs to be done, right? So that way it'll all be there when you need it for any accreditation. Okay? I hope this helps. Thanks.